Well, let's take what we just learned where we are solving for a variable like the radius or the height, and we're going to apply it to the rotations that we've been dealing with. And notice that the grid's a little different. I planned it that way because as you read on, you'll realize we have to plot the point A, and we don't know where A is. So let's read. The coordinates -4, -5, just throw it on there. -4, -5 is there. There we go. And let's label it. -4, -5. -4, 0. There we go. -4, 0. And A, 0, form a triangle that is to be rotated about the x-axis. Okay, well, where's A? And that's the point. We don't know the value of A, so I'm just going to slap something on there, which is why I didn't put a grid, because if I put a grid, you'd be like, well, A is here, well, maybe A is here, and it just gets weird and messy. So we're just going to say that this is at A, 0, and we don't know what A is, and that's okay. All right, we're going to rotate this around the x-axis, and when we do, everything we have below comes above, and we're going to have the same triangle up here. By the way, I put A there, didn't have to be there, could be anywhere, could be back here. We'll talk about that more later. So we're going to rotate this thing around the x-axis, which makes it go like this, and that means that we're going to have, well, circles. I think it's a cone. The volume of the solid is 50 pi. Okay, cool. We are dealing with a cone, and the volume of a cone is pi, 1/3 pi, r squared h. So let's just plug in everything we know, and you're going to see quite easily what we don't know. So the volume is 50 pi. We do know that. 1/3 pi. The radius is, okay, now we're not going to count, but we are going to just look at the numbers. From the center to the edge, which we don't have the number on this one, but we kind of do know it because it's 5. The distance here is 5, so that distance is also 5. Center to the edge, radius, 5. The height is what we don't know, and that's what we're going to find. Now, when I say we're finding the height, I'm not saying we're finding A, we're finding the height. Let's take one step at a time, right? Okay. So we are going to, we have options. We can divide by 1/3 pi times 5 squared. We can multiply by 3. We can do all kinds of stuff. I'm just going to go all for it all at once and do the thing that I don't like to do where I'm divide by fractions, but that's okay. And we're going to divide by 5 squared as well, which is going to give us 25. So we're going to divide 1/3 pi and 25. And we can do some of this in our head. We can do all of this in our head, actually. So all of that is going to cancel, every bit of that. And lucky us, it leaves us with h, which gets us really close to our answer of finding what A is, not h. And let's cancel out the pi's. And let's also say 50 divided by 25, which is 2. And now we have 2 divided by 1/3, not 2 times 1/3, 2 divided by 1/3, which is actually 6, which is why it's a little sloppy to divide fractions. So just really random, not related. I end up with 2 divided by 1/3, which is 2 divided by 1/3, which is 2 times 3 over 1. That's why it's 6. There we go. So h equals 6. So the height of this thing is 6. So A is 6, right? No. No, A is not. So what is one possible value of A? And it's not 6. So here's the deal. This distance from here to here is 6. This distance, boink, is 6. If that distance is 6, and here's what we do know, from here to here is 4, then from here to here must be, not drawn to scale for sure, from here to here must be 2. So A equals 2. Because again, to go from here to here, we're going to have to travel 6. We've already traveled 4, so we're going to travel 2 more. Now here's the deal. Maybe it doesn't look like this. Maybe I drew it wrong. Maybe, just maybe, it looks like this. I said that like I was about to break into song. I'm not. Maybe it goes here, and maybe A is way yonder back this way, and here's our triangle, and it does this thing. You don't have to draw all this. It goes like that, and we're still going to have that. So instead of a cone that opens, it opens like that. That means that A could be way yonder back here. Probably not the way we think about it. Given the fact that they didn't have a negative in front of A, that doesn't mean A can't be negative, but that's sometimes where our mind goes. So what I could say is, well, you know what? If I backed up 6 more from where I already am, which would be -4, then I would go all the way back to -10. So even though they asked for one possible value of A could equal 2, or it could equal -10. Alrighty, let's do the next one. The coordinates, -2, comma 8. There we go. -2, comma A. Where's A? I don't know. -2, comma 0. We do know where that one is. -2, comma 0. And 4, 0. Form a triangle that is to be rotated about the y-axis. Okay. Very quickly, I'll say this, just said it on the other problem. We don't know what A is. A could be negative. Our gut reaction is like, oh, there's no negative on that A, so it must be up here. Maybe it's down here. We're just going to pretend like it's up at the top for now. We'll talk about the specifics of that later. And we're going to rotate it about the y-axis. That is not correct. It should say x-axis, and yours will say that. Mine does not. I'm going to rotate that around the x-axis. And so when we do, we're going to have this situation right here. And it does this rotating thing, and does this rotating thing, and does this rotating thing, and this rotating thing. There we go. And we have a cone, and the volume of the solid formed is 72 pi. So what are the possible values of A? I need to find all of them. In this case, there will be 2 of them. You'll see why in a second. This is a cone. And the volume is 1/3 pi r squared h. And the volume is 72 pi. And that's 1/3 times pi times the radius. What's the radius of this thing? Okay, well, how far is it from the center to the edge? How far is that? Well, you can't count because we don't know how far we went because we went A. That is the radius. So A squared times h. And what's the height? Well, we do know this one actually. From -2 to +4 is 6. All right, let's keep solving. We're going to do a lot in our head. Let's just go ahead and cancel the pi's. I'm not going to show that work in this case. And I'm doing this one differently. It's totally okay. We're going to divide by 6. 72 divided by 6 is 12. That's equal to 1/3 a squared. Then we're going to triple that. We're going to get 36 equals a squared. And we're going to square root that, and we're going to get 6. But that means that I graphed it up here. Remember when I said maybe I could have graphed it down here? Either way, when I rotate it, I'm going to get the same cone, right? So when you're solving this and you square root both sides, you have the option of positive